Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniXTCG, and today we are here for another One Piece video going on set 2. Like I said, we're going to keep it going pretty strong. We're doing a lot of stuff on the channel today. We got a Dragon Ball video, we got a Battle Spirits video, you know, One Piece video, so I guess we're hitting a hat trick right now. And then throughout the rest of the week, we're going to be diving more into, we're going to be finishing up the Treasure Cup Miami coverage. We're going to be diving more into set 2. Yeah, we're just gonna be doing a lot, but that's just kind of the way it goes on this channel. We're trying to really push it as far as we can. And so with that being said, I do want to jump directly into the Kinemon primer. I hope you guys are enjoying the content, and if you guys are enjoying the content, you can always help the video thrive by going down there and liking it, pressing the subscribe button so you are always tuned in, notifications so you are always tuned in, and you know, maybe even commenting on the video with your thoughts that the video trends. It's a busy week, but I'll get back to all of them as soon as I can. Also, there's a Discord where we talk about pretty much all 3 of these card games. And yeah, so let's actually talk about Kinemon in Set 2, what it does, and just generally the cards you should be looking out for. Alrighty then. So we kind of got a lot. The first and foremost card we're going to talk about is the leader, of course. You got Kinemon. Activate main once per turn. When you have 1 or less characters in play, reduce the play cost of the next 3 cost or higher Wano country type character you have in play from your hand by 1 this turn. So, or that you play. Now, this is the cool thing about this. This is the first kind of floating effect that we have. Like, for instance, activate main once per turn means that you can just activate it when you have 1 or less, and then you are going to be able to reduce the play cost of the next 3 costs or higher Wano country type, which means you don't have to just use it when you're playing the thing. You can literally activate it at the beginning of your turn because you have 1 or less characters in play, and then, you know, you could play out your turn and then just, you know, the last card you play in the turn, you could play 3 things and then just, you know, slap down your Wano thing because it reads the board when you activate this main ability. So this is going to allow you to accelerate the curve of your Land of Wano cards by a little bit. And 1 Dawn, when, you know, the resource game, the max is 10, does mean a lot. You are playing things on a different curve. What this may mean is a Raizo on your first turn going second, and Okiku on your first turn going second. This could mean Okiku and a blocker going like first on your second turn. So it's really just going to change up the way you're able to play your cards, and it changes up the speed that this happens. Normally, you don't have to worry about an Okiku on the first turn, but at the same time, turn 1 Okiku is a freaking powerful play. It's just very strong. So let's move on to the next card. We're going to talk about the new additions, and there's not that many, not as many as we had in Zoro. So the first of the new additions, you have Kazuki Toki. If you have a Kazuki Odin character in play, this character gains blocker. Now, you're going to understand that there are going to be 2 different cards that trigger this, and they're both cards that you're going to play a fair amount of. One, note that all Yamatos are also named Kazuki Odins, so you're going to be able to use those. And then Kazuki Odins are Kazuki Odins. Shocker. So this is going to be a 1-drop situational blocker for the deck. Now just note though, the one issue about this thing, and I say issue lightly, is that if they remove your Odin, this is no longer a blocker. So you need to be wary of what you're playing against, because there are ways that they could turn off your blocker and then swing with a damage that you thought you'd be able just to pick off with a blocker. Next, we're going to talk about the brand new Yamato. Lots of people do be liking this. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a counter cost, but 6k power for 3. I'm not saying 4, because if you're playing it for 4, that means that you weren't able to get your leader's effect off. But generally, this is coming out for 3, so a 3 costs 6k. And when this card is played, you rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters at the cost of 6 or less. So this is actually a very, 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 very cool card. We definitely like this, and yeah, in her hybrid zone form. So look, all this, and she's got the white wreath. Things I'm just gonna say: Yamato's awakened, Kaido's not. At me, let's talk about it in the comments. But no, I definitely like this, and it's just really cool. Like really, really cool. Very strong card. Lots of very good stat line. Unfortunately, it can still be Jet Pistol, but very, very good stat line for the 3 Dawn you're playing for, with a powerful effect that reaches a lot of good targets. Next, this is the next new card, and it is the boss of the deck, and you're about to see why. This is Kazuki Odin. Big Daddy, bro. Look at this. Using Conqueror's Hockey. You can see the Black Lightning. Anywho, 8K, 4-8, usually 4-7. Activate main once per turn for 3. This set this character active. So this guy is going to swing twice with that big body. On KO, play up to 1 Wano country type character card with a cost of 3 from your deck and then shuffle your deck. So this is going to allow you to fetch Raizos, Okikus, even Izos in that case, like if you need to. So this is going to be a very, very, very versatile card, and even when it dies, it gives you insurance. And I'm not going to front, putting a Raizo on board from deck is great because then you can swing it the next turn. Like, it's already going to play into your stuff. But playing an Okiku, if you don't have an Okiku on board, is also really good. Even if you do have an Okiku on board, playing a second Okiku, very, very good. So yeah, this card gets it in there in damage and has some insurance that actually activates into deck thinning. And this is something very, very small, but very, very, very few abilities in this game shuffle right now. So the fact that this is going to pull something, they have to get rid of it because it's big. And when they do get rid of it, you're not only going to pull something out of your deck, but you're going to shuffle. That's huge. Very, very huge. So next we're going to go into returning cards. You've got Momonosuke. Momonosuke is your top 5 searcher, but you can see this is a Wano leader. More Wano cards to use as effect. So Kazuki Momonosuke is going to actually have way more targets. In this weird parallel universe, he is actually a better searcher than Bonnie. So hey, it is what it is. Next, you have Nekomamushi. Nekomamushi isn't being ran in every list, but he is being ran in some. He is a 2-drop, so he does not get Kinemon's effect, so you are playing him like the normal 2-drop he is, but he is still tapping down blockers. Against Zoro's small attackers they may not want to, attack with, or they just played last turn. So he still gets it in there doing his thing. He's just not necessarily a 4-0 like he is in every kid deck necessarily. You have Izo, he's still doing his thing, and he's a 2K you can search off of your Momonosuke. You have Okiku. Okiku, if she wasn't a 4-0 in your deck already, she is a 4-0 here. She is a force to be reckoned with. She comes down for 2, and Kazuki Odin can actually like put her out from the deck. Then another returning, you have Bonnie. Bonnie is just the top 5 searcher of your dreams. She's still searching powerful cards, but you're not really running a Supernova deck, you're running a Wano deck. It's like the core's reversed. You are now running a Wano deck with a Supernova package. Past that, you still got Gang Beige. He is your 1-drop blocker, not conditional like Toki, but he doesn't have a counter cost like Toki, so it is what it is. Then you got 2-drop blocker Killer. He do what he do. He's still a blocker, you still build a board, you still put a Dawn in him, you can draw any blocks. Scratch and Apu, the 2K that you can pick up off of Bonnie. They are running 2 X-Drake. There are a lot of targets that X-Drake can hit that I just can't, I can get into, but as we flesh out Set 2's decks, you'll see more and more. But even in this deck, like you saw, he can hit pretty much anything in the Zoro deck. In this deck, he's actually clapping Yamato, and that's actually very, 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 very important because Yamato is a 6K body, but she costs 4. So playing X-Drake is going to blow her up, and that's very, very important in the mirror. You're looking at the next card. You got 7-drop Kid. He is pretty much the top end of the Supernovas. He's a big body blocker, and he pairs well with Paradise Waterfall. So he's still in there. And then next, we're going to move over to the kind of underused kind of fringe tier. And you may be surprised, but Raizo is in that. Raizo is almost, when you look at a Kinemon list in a Set 2 meta, you almost flip a coin to see if Raizo's in there. Some people play him at 3, some people play him at 0. It's very strange because I think Raizo's a very good card, but I'm going to have to test on my own to see how I feel about it going into this next set. But we talked about his interactions. He's able to draw you a lot of cards. He only needs 1 Dawn to go neutral. You can play him for 2 and set up that momentum. You can then play, Momo next turn, tap it, swing with Raizo, get that draw engine going. I like it a lot, but we shall see. The global meta tends to be a little different than the JP meta, The next on the fringe list, you got Denjiro. Why is Denjiro on the fringe list? Because Denjiro is not able to use his Dawn 1 effect because your leader is not Kazuki Odin. However, he is going to be a Land of Wano card, and so he can come out for 4. And 4 for a 7k is strong. That's better than Virgo. Like, if you think about it, if you're able to play Virgo because he is a 5k 7k, why wouldn't you play a 4k 7k? That's essentially how this works, except this guy doesn't have a counter cost, so he can be cloggy in your hand, and he's basically a vanilla with no counter. That's rough. So I don't really see myself playing Dendro, but I'm just letting you know that sometimes he is teched in lists for being a 4-drop 7k. Another fringe is a surprising card. You got Basil Hawkins. You wouldn't expect him to be fringe, but you do. Like, literally, it's really weird to say that Basil goes from a 3 of in most decks, most green decks, to being a 0 of in a lot of green decks. But yeah, he doesn't really necessarily have a place in this deck. This deck is pretty good at just putting stuff sideways and then clearing it via attacking, because Odin is just very strong and he adds the pressure. And while he doesn't untap twice, Odin has a bigger body and he's going to be able to swing twice. And what I meant to say is, while he takes 3, he still swings twice. He's just not going to do it the same way that Basil does. So yeah, I think they kind of collide a little bit, you know? Another fringe, Law. Once again, it's weird to say that Law is fringe, but he is fringe. He is not in very many lists, but some lists do still tech him. And then this one is actually another funny fringe, 8-drop Kid. 8-drop Kid is not necessarily in every list. He's actually in only a few lists. 7-drop Kid is the one that's being used a lot more, which is a little weird. Maybe that's why he got the Wanted poster. I don't know, but that is the case. And then you move over to more fringe cards. You got Paradise Waterfall, which pairs well with your big blocker Kid. But since that's really the only big blocker you're using, I don't see many of these get played. I actually only see like most decks are teching it at 1, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Not sure, once again, if that's going to be something that changes in the global meta, but most decks I saw were teching him at 1. And then you move over and you've got Punk Gibson. This one, you'll likely see it like 2 copies if it's in the deck. Some people don't play it at all, but it's still that card. It's still a massive swing in defensive advantage, because it can sometimes paperclip your opponent for 2 swings. Block 1, stop another swing from happening, or expose a blocker, or tap a blocker so you can swing in for game next turn, or some heavy damage, or expose something that they didn't want to get swung on. So all in all, that is that, and let's just head to the closing. So all in all, what we're looking at hard is green tempo. It is literally playing a lot of the same game that Kid plays now, except that instead of being kind of protect the castle at times, this game doesn't go towards that. It's much more of an aggressive tempo. 7-drop Kid can hold down the fort while swinging. 8-drop Odin is very, very, very strong. Like, when you have both of them on the field, it's actually crazy, because you're swinging once for 8k and then you're swinging twice for 8k, and you're paying only 4 Dawn for that. So you have a total of 6 Dawn to use in any way, shape, or form you want, while you're raining 8k swings on your opponent base and then leaving a giant blocker up. So all in all, it really does get to the point where you were just going hard. Like, you were going hard, you're able to just put pressure on. You're still using green, so you've got a plethora of blockers. You've got a lot of 2Ks at your disposal. You have 2 1-drop searchers. It's pretty good. It's actually pretty good. So that is pretty much what I'm just going on about. If you do want to buy any singles in the future for this, you can go into the link in the description. Just search up their TCG player page. They'll have the singles that you could look for now that are currently out, but eventually they'll also have the singles from next set as well. You can also sell to them on their Facebook page, and then if you want to pre-order content down the future, I believe the Big Mom starter deck and the black Luffy starter deck are both there for pre-order, and you can actually do that on their site too. No, sorry, the Yamato structure deck. The Yamato structure deck is there, and you can pre-order both of those on the site right now. Remember, if you go to the site, just use the label or the code WorstGen, and you will be able to get a percentage off of your order. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. We got some Dragon Ball coming up today, some Battle Spirits coming up today, and I am super excited to continue this content train, trying to be one of the most resilient content creators for your TCGs that you watch. And I will see you in the next video.